cheers, guys, to
Cheers.
jumping on the podcast.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Didn't even hit the
Cheers.
glasses.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, everybody.
Yeah. Don't forget you there, Alex.
So we are here at the Mother Road downtown tap room on Butler, or not Butler,
Mike's
Man,
Pike.
Mike's Pike.
Yeah.
Man, I'm jacking this whole thing up already, dude. I'm in the presence of another podcaster, so I feel I'm being judged.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Well, let's go around the table real quick. So, first of all, we're here. Discover Flagstaff brought us on to promote the awesome beer week that you guys always have here in Flagstaff. So, shout out to the team at Discover Flagstaff for putting this all together. And we've got some guests. We're going to talk about the beer week that they're going to be doing, and just kind of overall beer week here in Arizona or in Flagstaff. So, let's start with this guy. Who are you, and where are you from?
Hello, y'all. I'm Nathan Friendman, the owner and head brewer at Wanderlust Brewing Company here in Flagstaff.
Excellent.
My name is Dylan Prater. I'm the general manager of the tap room here at Mother Road Brewing.
I'm Alexander Phillips. I'm all things Grand Canyon Brewing and Distilling. And since Eric gave me an opportunity, I'm going to go ahead and plug Industry Secrets Podcast.
Heck yeah.
Yes, sir.
One day I'll be a guest on that.
Something to aspire to.
Hey, listen, Bobby gave me dates 2 days ago, so we can get it scheduled.
Awesome. All right, cool, man. Very cool. I can't wait.
It's a fun time.
It is. It is a fun podcast to listen to. You guys have fun doing that. So, well, Dylan here is a first timer on the podcast. I've had Nathan on the podcast. Alex has been on the podcast multiple times.
Quite a few, yeah.
So, is this your first podcast ever?
This is like my second or third, but definitely
Okay.
first with headset microphone, the
Okay.
whole get up. So
Nice,
I
man.
feel
You
pretty spiffy.
Feel special.
Yeah.
Hey, if you don't mind, kind of turn this way a little bit because we get the camera over there. We want to see your pretty face.
It's a podcast.
I forgot to
look at the camera.
I forgot to shave today.
That's why the camera's far enough away. It's okay.
Podcasting will reinvent talk TV if it kills itself.
So, all right. So, Flagstaff has always been like my favorite beer city. I love Flagstaff, and
a good one.
and yeah, right. And drinking the beer that really kind of Railhead Red at the Brews and Q's was always one that really kind of started the beer thing for me. Like, oh man, beers doesn't have to necessarily be, Busch Light and Schlitz and stuff that we drank in Ohio, right? It could be good, but Lost Highway was the one that changed it for me big time. So glad to be drinking this again. I know you guys weren't making it for a little bit, right?
It's turned into a seasonal. So, I mean, most of our beer we distribute down to Phoenix and Tucson. And since a lot of our drinkers are down in the valley, it's 117 degrees a few months of the year. And 8% double black IPA may not be the go-to style for that
I don't
season.
know what they're thinking. It sounds perfect to me.
Like Flagstaff is still 85 degrees, so it's
Yeah.
all year round.
Heck yes.
Yeah, it's a delightful beer for sure.
You were talking it up before we started recording, Alex. You're a big fan of this beer as well.
Yeah, it Sublimely Self-Righteous was a fan favorite of mine, and
From Stone?
and
Yep.
to have a local brewery that's making a style that I was very much into and still kind of am, but just I'm not currently in like as much of a dark beer phase as I used to be. But this beer has always just been so impressive to me. We've taken a swing at a black IPA at our brewery a handful of times just based on our love of this beer.
Yeah.
Kind of like a love song that we've never quite got right.
Nice.
It's kind of got a little cult following to it. I mean, when we don't have it, it is definitely our most asked for beer. Where is it? When's it coming around? When we first released it back in November, we came out this season with it. I mean, we probably sold 40 cases out of the tap room in 2 days.
People
It's
were
crazy.
like, dude, I'm getting it.
Nice.
Like, if you're going to run out, I'm getting all of it.
Yeah,
now.
absolutely.
It was one of the originals. I mean, that was one of the original 3 beers, if I remember correctly, here at Mother Road. It was that one, and then there was the ESB and what was it? And the Kolsch.
Painted Desert ESB and the Serpentine Kolsch, which is now the
that
Serpentine
ESB
Golden
Yeah,
Ale.
yeah. I remember Urs brewing the first batch of that here on this
Yeah.
very system that we're sitting next to.
Well, that's a great segue. I mean, you've been here in the beer scene here for, when did Wanderlust open?
We were 10 years ago in October. So,
Nice.
yeah,
That's awesome.
we're 2012, October of 2012 was when we opened the doors.
And 2011 for here?
2011,
Yep,
November 17th, 2011.
Yeah. So you were a fan of beer, obviously, before you opened up Wanderlust, and this was one of your spots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, Michael and Urs and I, we're all going through a lot of the startup kind of pains and figuring this whole thing out at the same time. So, I mean, I came over here when the floor was down to dirt and they were, putting in the floor drain, and I'm sure they showed up at my place when we were doing the same, probably like 6 months later. So yeah.
Well, and then Alex, Grand Canyon has been open. Like, when did the Williams location open?
So we opened in Williams in 2007.
Okay, but you're kind of the new kids on the block here in Flagstaff, right?
That's correct. Flagstaff's a hard town to kind of break into, and with good reason, right? And we're happy to be part of the family now, right? It's I was just talking to someone, and we were just talking about how Flagstaff's such a great beer town, and the thing is it's a hard club to join. And you got to kind of not be bullshit. There's a few people who've tried and not, made the full run. But coming home to Flagstaff is something that's always been important to us, right? Like my partner, our founder, got a master's in AU. Like we spend time here. He used to live in Flagstaff. He lives in Williams now.
And you've known him like your whole life, right?
Since we were kids.
Yeah.
So, like 10 years old, I think, is the first time we met.
Okay.
Up in the White Mountains. So we opened here in 2018.
Okay.
I'm going to get that wrong. I think it's 2018. We're coming into 3-4 years now. So I always forget because that one was like just ahead of quarantine. So no, it was 2019.
Okay.
Because we opened the same year downtown opened. So it's been a funky couple of years being here in Flagstaff. But, the one thing is everyone knows that the city of Flagstaff moves pretty slow. So that actually ended up working out for us because we were able to take our time and get our actual brew house online, which is kind of a big deal amongst the peers here in Flagstaff. Is they want brewers, not tap rooms, which I respect.
Okay.
And so we were happy to kind of like join that club right ahead of quarantine, and it's been fun and welcoming, and it's been cool to hang out.
So meaning like they want to have you brewing there, not necessarily just a satellite tap room that's like an outlet for your beer.
Yeah, because there needs to be more. Flagstaff, like you said, I've thought since long before I even got in the industry that when it's all settled, this will be Arizona's beer city, right?
Yeah.
And if it's just like everyone that wants to have a satellite up north because they're a popular brand in Arizona opens up a tap room and we all just pretend it's the same thing as opening a brewery, then half that space or opportunity is going to be kind of gobbled up when it could be new, innovative people coming onto the scene, right? Like, I've long been complimentary of the way Nathan approaches business. His flagship beer isn't like common; it's a dark beer and stuff like that. But like, we need innovative minds like that contributing to what we're trying to accomplish here in Flagstaff. Right?
Yeah.
And so, that's just mostly in my opinion, but it kind of is vibes.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
I think to that point, it's a great community here of beer supporters in Flagstaff, but also the breweries are all very close. We all talk on a very regular basis. I would say it's probably isn't 2 weeks that go by that I don't get a message from somebody of, hey, can I borrow this, or hey, can you come take a look at this, or we need some help, or who do you call for whatever maintenance on your boiler, or whatever that is. And so I think to Alex's point, it's that community beyond just the people who are sitting in your tap room and drinking. It's the community of the people who are passionate about it and who make the beer and who sell the beer, and who really get involved in the whole industry from top to bottom here. And you don't get that when you get somebody who comes in necessarily and just opens kind of a satellite location. Not that there aren't some great breweries that we would certainly welcome in here, but it's a different flavor because we're all part of a deeper community than just somebody who's trying to hawk some beer.
Yeah,
I think that's exactly it. When my wife and I looked at moving to town, we weren't quite sure yet, and everywhere we looked, it was we'd go hiking, climbing. Okay, we got to go drink some beer. And when we came to Flagstaff, and we went to both of y'all's tap rooms as well, to Grand Canyon and Wanderlust, and here at the Mother Road tap room. And we had that, went to a few different tap rooms where we were like, this is it. This is the community. Everybody's making us feel right at home, like we're not actually living 1,800 miles away from home.
Yeah. How did that happen? So you've been here in Arizona from Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
How long?
3 years now, almost. Right before the pandemic. So we just looked for some place to move out west, kind of struggled to find that, and then came through Flagstaff and had that sense of community, small town feel. 300 days of sunshine isn't bad with outdoor activities to go ski. You go there and ski today, and then go down to Sedona and be in 60 degrees in the sunshine in the desert. It's pretty fantastic.
Did you come from the beer world in Tennessee as well?
I didn't come straight from brew world, but I worked at an old beer and burger joint, and we highlighted craft beer. It was all about craft beer, so was excited to break into the brewery scene coming out here.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you get to run this beautiful space, and
Not
you
too
said
shabby.
that your day off was yesterday, but when you still came in, you were checking to see how everything went.
No, I got too caught up with you at Grand Canyon Tap Room yesterday.
Well, I texted him because we were hitting all 8 places in Flagstaff to cover for Discover Flagstaff, and like we go to Lumberyard and we get mac and cheese and a burger and something else and 2 beers, and then we go to Beaver Street. Pizza, pot pie, burgers, and I don't like to I like to eat, and I don't like to waste food, right? So by the time we got to your place, and she brought out that Stromboli, I was like, I texted him. I'm like, hey man, I don't think we're gonna make it today. We'll just grab this stuff tomorrow. And then he came in, and I did, and I know we've met a couple of times, just at a few of the events here, just and so I looked on my phone. I'm like, is this him? I'm looking at Instagram. I asked Paige, Luke's wife. I'm like, is that the people that are sitting over there? She's like, I think so. So I go over and like, hey, dude, what's up? So I think he was relieved that I had to reschedule because you got a little bit of downtime. Right?
Oh, it was good. Yeah, I mean, we had such a big day. My brother was in town, so big day skiing, and went through yesterday. And I think that's one of the parts also about Flagstaff is, my wife and I are doing house errands, running around. It's like, okay, well, which spot should we go get a beer and some food at right now?
And he chose your spot, man.
Yeah, listen, that's high praise. That's high praise. I'll take it.
So I remember a few years ago, the mayor, Coral, was that her? The mayor, Coral, whatever.
Yeah, Coral Evans.
Yes. Didn't she designate this like the Arizona Beer City?
It was actually Governor Ducey.
Yep.
Oh,
declared
okay.
it. Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean?
I mean, I think it's really recognition. Yeah, it's recognition at kind of a state level that we have something unique here when it comes to the beer scene here in Flagstaff, and it's in no small part because of the enthusiasm of the city.
Yeah.
To really get behind kind of the community that we have in the beer scene here, and it's it comes out of the fact that we've got some of the oldest breweries in the state here with Beaver Street and with Flag Brew, and then we've got a lot of newer ones that have opened up. And I mean, even, kind of this, I would say, kind of middle time tier where it was like Historic and Mother Road and Wanderlust. I mean, we've been here for a decade now.
Yeah.
And so I think it's this acknowledgement, not just what we already knew locally, that it was a great destination for beer.
Yeah.
But at a state level, there's some recognition there. So they use it in a lot of marketing campaigns. I mean, it's a great talking point with the city. And in this day and age when, there's a lot of tourist destinations, you have to kind of differentiate yourself somehow when you're thinking of where you go and why you go there. And so it's just another thing that Flagstaff as a city can use to help draw people in that are like-minded and are seeking out the kind of things that we enjoy to do here in town.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, not a whole lot of cities or towns can you go to, and even just the proximity, be able to go visit 8 breweries in one day.
Yeah.
Usually, you're having to catch an Uber, go across the city. I mean, here we complain because it takes 8 minutes, to travel all the way across the city.
Yeah. The Uber ride from my hotel right over here it was a great relief for it to be like a $5 Uber ride to go to Nathan's place, to go to Wanderlust last night. Yeah. And the same thing
all the way across town. It's like 4 stoplights away between here and there. It's like, man, I don't know if I'm going to go across town today. It's going to take me an extra 7 minutes.
But that's what people that
is that mountain life.
My in-laws lived up here, and that was for them. They were like, that's all. Like, we don't always go this, but it gets way across town. I'm like, that's 6 minutes away. Like, come on.
when I was younger, I grew up in Pine Top Lakeside, and I had friends in Snowflake. They'd be like, "Hey, come visit." That's 20 minutes. Yeah. That's not even stoplights. It's a 20-minute straight drive, and to me at the time, like at 19, it was so foreign.
Yeah. And
then I get to the city, and I'm driving 35 minutes to work every day, and I'm like, oh, I guess that wasn't far.
So, all right. So, a beer week here has been historically a pretty badass time, right? I mean, I'd say start with the collaboration, right? Was it the Flag 8 that you guys do every year?
Yeah, it's 8. Is it 8 now?
It's 8 now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It fluctuated there for a couple months, years. It was
like the Flag 7 and then the Flag 10.
We went from counting brew houses to, okay, what are the actual breweries and companies, not being just
Yeah,
brew houses.
It's the Flagstaff Brewery collaboration.
There we
It's
go.
just
I like
easier
that.
way.
Yeah.
We got above 5, and it's brewers. We were not really able to count that well. So.
Yeah, not all brewers have 10 fingers. So, but to Nathan's point, this is a self-contained beer town, right? So, and I know the guild does a lot of work to help promote it and stuff like that, and it is predominantly that those efforts are in the valley, and it has been successful here because we do, again, just to kind of quickly gloss over what we just talked about, is that kind of spark that we have here that, like, even if we don't get a bunch of people from the valley up or tourists through, like, there's going to be a lot of buzz around town about whose favorite brewery's doing what kind of events, and those will be attended. And even if the great thing about Flagstaff is that even if Beer Week gets like snowed out on the highways and we can still drive around town, it'll be a blast.
Yeah.
Right.
Meaning the local
Oh yeah.
market.
Absolutely.
Everybody locally looks forward to it as well. It's not just kind of a reason to come into town. I mean, there's people who have literally attended some of our events every single year that we've been open.
Oh yeah. It's
that are
so
local
so
here.
well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, people who like speaking of the Flagstaff 8, the trail map or whatever, like they're people, like it's you get cynical sometimes because like no one takes things seriously, but here in Flag, like people take that seriously and they're like, oh yeah, no, I've been to these ones and checked it off, and I actually find that there's I'm gonna get it wrong, Brewbound or one of those clubs that kind of does the same thing for Arizona, where a lot of northern Arizona breweries are on their thing, and we get a lot of their traffic. And when we get those people, they're always so nice. They're checking out every other place in town, right? And it tends to, again, people seem a little more invested in the community. And it's great to get a lot of people who, bounce around different breweries and stuff like that. And you've seen it in the city, right? And you got to market sometimes to keep yourself open. But when you have people who have come like, hey, this is my 10th year coming to your anniversary, you're just like, okay.
Nice.
That's owning your backyard, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's really cool.
So what is the collaboration this year? You haven't made it yet?
No.
Yeah, I don't know that. Are we doing one this year? When's it scheduled for?
Still in talks. I know
Yeah.
last we just met up to go over some details about the Flag Brew Trail itself, and so we had kind of formulated we need to get a meeting on the calendar to corroborate over it too.
That's a classic brewery kind of thing.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Like, shit, we need to put this beer in the tent tomorrow.
Yeah, that'll probably happen here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I feel like Beer Week's a little bit later in February this year than it has been in the past, and so
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Oh, we got plenty of time.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be
I don't
fine."
even have
And,
to start until February.
but I'm sure we'll do something. Yeah, I think everybody's just had a bit of a whirlwind last couple months with. Some things going on here in town, and just everybody's, getting back at it after a couple years of up and down. And so
Yeah.
I think it's been a little more last minute this year.
Yeah, I think that's just the struggles. Yeah, everybody's got their own thing going on, and before you know it, it's middle of January. Like, oh man, this is usually the time of the year we do that. Oh wait, hey, do we need to get together and talk
So
about this?
to be determined.
All right.
It'll be good.
We'll superimpose that audio into it later.
Yeah,
Like it'll
yeah,
be like
exactly.
Nathan on a phone call. Like, well, so what is the? Tell me more about the trail. Like what is it? The brew trail?
Yeah, the Flagstaff Brewery Trail.
Yeah.
So it's just a corroboration between all 8 breweries in Flagstaff. Discover Flagstaff helps to promote that for us, and it's pretty much just a beer trail,
like a map. Like you get a map.
Exactly,
and
you
guide
get a
and stuff
map.
like that.
We're doing some updates to it this year, which we'll come out with soon. But typically, you get a map, and they go around to each brewery, and you get a stamp to mark that you've been here.
Okay.
During COVID, we switched it to you only needed to visit 5 of 8 breweries in order to get a pint glass.
Okay.
I think we're going to adjust that for this year, but as of right now, it's, guests come in, they say, hey, we're doing the brewery trail, we give them a stamp, they check it out, and that's the fun thing we get to talk about. Alex was mentioning earlier that now we get to like say, okay, where have you been? Okay, here's where you should hit next. This is like here where it's close, or, for us too, for Wanderlust, you guys being all a 5-minute drive to the east side of
All
town.
the way across town.
Western
like-
New Mexico, pretty much.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Might as well be.
It's like you guys have hit here, you should head over that way now, and just
Yeah.
to get to, chat about our product, and then push them off to the next brewery on the trail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this year, if I understand, we're switching to an electronic passport now.
Okay.
So you'll be able to kind of check in when you get to the brewery.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some breweries will do like a discount or something like that if you're coming on the ale trail.
Okay.
And then when you're finished with it, I believe it's at the actual Flagstaff City that you pick up the pint glasses.
Yeah, the
So
Visitors
they have
Bureau.
the
Okay.
Visitors Bureau. So, yeah, it just encourages people to, take some time and take a day or 2 days while they're here, and gives them a reason to go and visit some of the places that they may not have gone to, whether it is all the way across town or whether
Yeah.
it's something that's even one that they would have just walked by normally and not stopped in.
Sure.
So it's been really great for us as breweries because we can do a lot of cross marketing on it. It helps people really discover what this whole Arizona craft beer city is all about,
Yeah.
and why we have that designation.
Yeah, the digital app gives us the ability. We'll be able to, all the breweries, to be able to post their events on there. So everybody
nice.
in town that's looking at the brewery trail knows what's happening at each brewery and go participate in whatever's happening. And that, the app gives the ability to geotag, and it's not necessarily that each brewer, we're not asking to come in and buy something. It's just that you came in and checked it out.
Yeah.
I think we recognize that visiting 8 breweries can entail a lot of
I can speak to
consumption.
that. It's very hard. Yeah. It's a very, well, where do people get it? Like, is there a website for the trail? Is that,
Well, yeah, there is. It's craftbeerflg.com
Okay.
is the website. And yeah, as Nathan said, we'll be releasing the digital version soon. We're working on, and we'll release that. But right now you can go on to craftbeerflg.com to get that map, or head over to the Amtrak station, the Visitors Bureau, to pick that up.
Oh, okay.
And that's where they give out the pint glasses as well. So after you
Gotcha.
complete the map, you go to the Visitors Bureau, drop it off, and they give you the Flagstaff leading craft beer city.
nice.
Cool pint glass.
My goal is to get one every visit. I'm gonna hit all 8 every time.
It's a noble goal. Your liver thanks you for that.
Well, so this is not just beer week then. Like the trail, the ale trail is year
24/7,
Yeah. Okay.
365.
Certainly,
Yep.
for sure.
Well, let's talk about beer week. What do you guys have coming up for beer week? Nathan has lots of notes here that.
I know. I was saying before this, I knew of a couple events, and fortunately have an excellent taproom manager and event planner who takes care of all of those, and so she sent me a whole list. But yeah, we've got a full schedule for beer week. Speaking of collaborations, we talked about the one earlier, but one of the things we do every year is we have what we call our bartenders brew, where we use Beer Week as a kind of catalyst to help educate our staff over at Wanderlust a little bit more in the brewing process. And so we get everybody together a month or two before Beer Week, all the staff, and do kind of a beer tasting where everybody gets to bring something in of some unique style. And from that, we decide what style our staff is going to brew, and they're actually over there right now. So all the bartenders and salesperson and everybody like that is dumping grain into the mash tun
Nice.
and mashing out and adding hops and all that kind of stuff, and learning about the process. But also we will release that beer during Beer Week.
Nice.
So last year we did a fruited sour. This year we are doing an Irish red.
Okay.
So
Very
that's what
nice.
they're brewing over there today. So that, along with the Flagstaff collaboration and the Arizona Women's collaboration, we always do kind of a collaboration showcase
Okay.
over at our tap room as well. So that's one of the events that we have on the schedule already. We have a couple beer dinners. We always do one with Bicicleta, and we're going to do that again this year.
Nice.
And I believe we also have a collaboration with the Flagstaff Mountain Film Festival that they're going to do like a short film night over at the brewery one night. So that'll be a lot of fun. Let's see. And maybe the other event that I would really highlight, because it's super unique and stems from the fact that we've been in business for 10 years, is we have done the last couple of years an archive tasting where we have a huge archive of beers that we've brewed over the last 10 years that are like our barrel-aged stuff and our sours, and we try and set aside enough that we can pull out 3 or 4 of those every year, and a couple cases of each, and you can come in and get a tasting of all those. So it could be something that was like our 2nd anniversary ale, or
nice.
like a sour that we brewed in year 4 or something like that. So we go through and taste them all and pick which ones we want in that lineup. So that's a big event for us. It's super fun, and to be quite honest, like when we go through, it's just a lot of fun for us to go pick those out because there's beers that I've like forgotten that we brewed that we're like
that are
"Oh
just
my
sitting in
gosh."
barrels, like just.
It's not in barrels; they're all in bottles. So
Okay.
we have like a
I see.
whole
Yep.
like shelf
Gotcha.
tucked away in the corner that just has cases of beers that we're aging because
Yeah.
we brewed them in such a way that we knew they would age well, and
Nice.
we're taking advantage of it and sharing it with everybody. So I don't remember what day that is. I believe it's Thursday or Friday of Beer Week, but we're really excited about that one. That's one of my favorites. That's one that I turn from the owner into a patron that day because I come in and get the tasting as well. It's just super fun. So, yeah.
Once again, thank you to Discover Flagstaff for setting this all up. What are you guys doing? What's Beer Week look like for Grand Canyon? Because you've got, 3 locations now? You got Williams, you got Flagstaff, and Page, right?
Yeah, and we we have a pretty predominant presence in the valley as well. So for Beer Week, it's a bunch. So, I mean, what I would ultimately say is we'll put up a calendar. Is what I would ultimately say. We have a lot going on, right? Page is a big city. Page has more tourists than the Grand Canyon and Williams, just so everyone knows, by about double.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the newest location open up.
So we opened that in March
Okay.
of this year.
Yeah.
Or last year.
Almost hitting 1 year.
Yeah,
Excellent.
just about to, yeah. And then we're hoping to put down 3 locations this year. But
Wow. 3 new ones?
we're in aggressive expansion. So,
Valley locations?
not quite as of yet.
Okay.
There's 1 or 2 we're looking at cities we'd like to be in, but just not quite yet. It's
yeah.
we're the kings of the north, right? Like that's our whole thing. Right? So we've done like speed beer dating in the past, which is fun, which kind of like helps like your average consumer like run through a bunch of different beer styles. Kind of like think about it like a speed run flight, but more in just like a fun kind of atmosphere. Liz Lindbergh, formerly marketing of the Whining Pig, and a few other places. She
Co-host of Tap That Easy podcast
yeah,
at times. Yes.
she's currently she's my Phoenix sales manager for the brewery. She's about to move up here.
Oh, no shit.
And
Nice.
take over events and become like our event coordinator. We need someone to kind of take over things at scale. So one fun thing that we're doing is just food and beer has always been a big thing. I've kind of gotten back into my culinary background. I dusted off the old knife bag. And so I'm doing pizza tripping with Alex. So I've concepted a few pizzas while relaxing at the end of an evening.
All great ideas come at those times.
Yes, sir. Of just making pizza food I want to eat, or my favorite foods that aren't pizza, but I'm making them pizza, or just wild pizza ideas.
Okay.
And they're just like, because we've always made we've made pickle beers and we've made just wild beers, and I want to do it with pizza. And so we're just working with like different craft pizza joints around the state, just mostly Flagstaff and Phoenix.
Yeah.
To do a few events like that. And the idea is, we just pair up a beer and then have a wild pizza made to go with it and just kind of feature that during Beer Week. And then, we're very collab heavy. We've done traditionally a Willy Wonka beer with 12 West in the past. That will not change. We have 2 on the schedule for this year. The first one will be Beer Week, and I would just keep an eye out for both of the Willy Wonka beers we're going to do this year, because the second one's going to be a fucking doozy.
Yeah.
And the first one's not shabby for Beer Week, and I guess I'll just announce it because it's more likely to fail than not actually happen. During Beer Week, we're trying to figure out a way in an event to serve a beer we've made directly out of the barrel we aged it in. Now, the barrel was rigged ahead of putting beer into it. We didn't just decide we were going to try to do something stupid. But that'll either be at an event here in town or at Strong Beer when we kick off. So,
Like a firkin type of thing, but it's like...
I've always wanted... So we've done the Hogshead a few times, the big full barrel. We've done it at Strong Beer and Real Wild Woody a few times. It's one of my favorite casks we have. That I've always wanted to do out of a barrel.
Yeah.
And I have a team crazy enough now that wants to take it on. And my current team, they're very talented, they're very ambitious, and they're very clever. And I was just like, just make sure you retrofit that barrel before you put beer in it, so you can serve from it.
Yeah.
That's all. And it actually will ultimately make it easier to fill and service out of. So just a handful of things. I mean, we'll do a bunch of stuff, but mostly just trying to focus on food, craft beer, and then I've taken kind of a different approach. Nathan said, a lot of us are 10 years plus in this industry. I'm getting old, and I just want to do things that are with local craft breweries in Arizona during Beer Week. And I've ambitiously done stuff with larger regional breweries, and that won't change over time. But I think that Beer Week is starting to become more like, I don't know, just something sacred to me. I want to do fewer events of higher quality that focus on what Arizona has to offer for beer, which is what we're going to kind of try to focus on. So
Nice.
check out the social medias. We'll have a calendar eventually, I think.
I think that's a good theme there, Alex, is that you're going to see, at least my impression from a lot of the breweries I've talked to, is we're all kind of focusing on fewer, higher quality events.
Yes.
Those are the ones that are fun. Those are the ones
Sure.
that we get the good interactions and you get something unique and things like that.
People talk about it for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
You
at
know,
Safeway and you see a shirt from an event that
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's what, Beer Week has kind of matured. I feel like
Yeah.
over the years that we've been involved in it, from something that's just like how many tap takeovers can we do in 1 week, to let's figure out some unique events, something that you're going to want to come out to because you're never going to see it again, in this year or maybe ever again,
Yeah.
depending on what it is. So I would say if people are looking for events for Beer Week, I would also dig deep on some of those events because those are going to be the fun ones. Those are going to be the ones you'll remember.
Yeah. Nice. Well, Mother Road. That's a tough follow up with these two,
I
right?
know, right? I think that
Mother Road has 74 tap takeovers.
every
600
single night of
fries
beer
and
weeks. Don't go anywhere else. Just come here to have a different beer every single night. Man, I think we're going along with that theme of, not being so strung out and trying to hit every single night and do an event every night, of concentrating on a few. So we actually just mashed in this morning with a collaboration with Moto Sonora,
Nice.
brewing down in Tucson. We did a smoky Scotch ale this morning. Tomorrow we're doing a big drive with old 61 Mustang, and I don't even know how old Dennis's Ford truck is. It's probably from the 40s.
Oliver's Subaru, I think.
Yeah, the Crosstrek is going to get in there. It's all-wheel drive. Got the roof rack, very Flagstaffian vehicle. But anyway, we're driving down there tomorrow. Wednesday, we're going to brew a double IPA down there.
Double West Coast.
Double
right?
West
Double
Coast.
West Coast,
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have probably the launch party for that collaboration for both of those beers. It's going to be during Beer Week. We'll obviously be a part of Strong Beer Festival that Saturday.
Yeah.
And then a new one for us that we kind of half-assed last year that we're going to do big this year is Fat Tuesday falls during Beer Week. So
That's right.
our food truck, the Roadside Stow, is operated by the crew over at Satchmo's.
Oh, yeah.
Jamie Thousand and those guys are up in the Cajun Creole barbecue world. So we're going to do a big crawfish boil on
nice.
Fat Tuesday. Fingers crossed we have as good a weather as we did last year to take over our parking lot, do a big crawfish boil, Fat Tuesday, party with some beer pairings. Then we're going to look at one we did a few years ago, or maybe, we've been over 12 years now, 13 years, 6 years
The
ago.
last 2 years are a blur.
Yeah.
Time has no meaning anymore.
Certainly doesn't.
We're looking at doing a fun one where you bring in recycled cans, and we're going to plant succulents out of recycled cans. Bring in your recycled cans, and we'll do like a succulent filling day with recycled cans.
Yeah. Mother Road cans or any cans?
I mean, preferably Mother Road, but
Sure. By Wanderlust, and we'll give you a few cans.
yeah. No, that's what it's part of Beer Week. I'll say that it's going to be an Arizona or Flagstaff
There you go.
Okay.
beer can.
Yeah, I like
bring
that.
it in.
Yeah.
No Stone or New Belgium. Get out of here. But that'll be a fun one. We're also looking to kind of bring up the 2023 Arizona Women's Brew collaboration, which was the shop hosted last Friday.
Yeah.
All of the ladies of the tap room here went down and were a part of that brew. They left me to work the floor that night. So
I ran into them there, actually. I thought I was going to see them here today, but they are brewing beer at the other brewing place.
yeah.
Wait, they're brewing another one?
No. I saw them at the collab on Friday.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're all
What they
back
make?
in.
What was the women's brew?
I believe it was just a hazy IPA.
Okay,
Is what
okay.
they brew down
Yeah.
there. So
I feel like that sounds right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
looking to coordinate
Sort
a launch party of that up here for a
Nice.
Flagstaff launch party at
Yeah.
least, and maybe at a joint account. One of the beer bars, Hops on Birch, Pancakes, some place where we can all kind of share and do that, and
Yeah.
show the ladies brew, because last year they did a great commotion of German style Bach we hosted.
Oh, yeah.
It was fantastic. So
Yeah.
I'm really stoked to see what they've put together for this year.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So now there's another. There is isn't there a beer dinner every year too? That's kind of
ABV beer dinner.
Yeah. What is that?
Yeah, so the ABV beer dinner is a Flagstaff collaboration beer dinner where each of the breweries in Flagstaff gets paired up with a local chef and does a course paired with a beer.
Different chefs, like
So
the-
so whatever, Mother Road might get paired up with Pizzicoletta, and Grand Canyon might get paired up with the guys over at Salsa Brava or something
Okay.
like that. And then you'll kind of get assigned a course. And so you come in and it's a benefit dinner, and it's been at the American Legion in the past,
Right.
but I think we might have a new location this year. I know they were trying to find a place where we had more room because
Okay.
we were basically maxing out the seating in there. But it's a super fun event. We do, raffles, and all the breweries donate a bunch of really good prizes. Because it's 8 courses, it's like a 2 to 3 hour dinner, and
Okay.
it's a lot of fun. But that's usually the last Saturday of Beer Week. It's kind
Okay.
of our closer event for the week. I don't have all the details on where it's going to be and when tickets are going to go on sale, but I'm sure we can get those over to you when they happen.
Okay.
We'll announce it.
Excellent.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the first one since before COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have it the last 2 years because
Yeah.
of COVID, but there was one before.
I think that's why it's so exciting about this beer week, because I feel like COVID, this is the first year that's actually been, this beer week has been blown up and everybody's
Completely
full,
free
get
of-
back at it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent. So, Alex, you look like you're really contemplating something, and then I realized the sun is
That-
right
Yeah,
now.
I'm like, yes.
He's just glaring at you, and it's actually because he can't see anything right now.
Where's that sound coming from?
I feel
Where's
like the
that voice?
Leonardo DiCaprio meme.
Well, guys, anything else you want to add to this? Once again, Discover Flagstaff, kudos to them for getting this all together, and for the role that they play in the craft beer scene here. It's such an active role, and they know what they have here, and it's that. I don't know, it's that mutual appreciation that, both sides have. You guys have for them, they have for you. And it helps everybody, so much. So thank you to them.
Yeah. Thank you guys at Discover Flagstaff. I think it's so fun, and that speaks volumes of this city that they're so invested in the hospitality and tourism industry that they're, willing to come over. And, one of the tough parts about being in the brewery industry is that we have to have beer during meetings.
I know, right? Yeah. Alex's is empty. Mine, both yours is empty. I actually hate myself very well.
People will never figure out how I talk this much and drink that much at the same time. But
You've been in the industry a while. That's what you said. It's an acquired skill.
yeah, I just with Discover Flagstaff, I would just add that everything you guys just said, we're working with them as well. We're collabing a beer with the Earn Your Booze team. There's a lot of media out there about that. But we're working with them the week of Brouhaha, which is kind of like Flagstaff's Winter Wonderland Beer Festival, which is fantastic. But we're going to be at the Ropes course, kind of doing some Discover Flagstaff stuff with them. And then after that, we're going to do a launch for our first hazy ever, really, Dead Hanger Hazy, with the Earn Your Booze team. I believe it's going to be at Yucca North, but we're going to post, I think it's today we're going to post where that's going to be, but just, and again, we can do that because Discover Flagstaff is finding innovative ways to work with people in the city to feature really cool stuff here. So it's very interesting how I like guerrilla marketing. I think it's interesting, and I'm just pretty happy to work with them. So this has been fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's it.
I think you guys nailed it. Nice work.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining them.
Yeah.
Cool. Cheers.